Strength of Prayer. Chapter 1. A Family's Endless Worry. The village of Super was a place of simple joys and deep struggles. Small mud houses stood side by side, surrounded by fields of golden wheat. Life here was peaceful, yet one house carried a shadow of worry that never seemed to fade. It belonged to Dev and Mira, a humble couple who worked hard to make ends meet. They had 3 children, Anaya, Ariv, and their middle son, Vihan. Though the family was full of love, it was also full of sorrow, for Vihan had been unwell since birth. Vihan's body was frail, his immune system weak. Every seasonal change brought high fevers, breathlessness, and fatigue. He could never play like the other children, nor could he attend school regularly. Dev and Mira spent countless nights watching over him, fearing that any moment his condition might worsen. Doctors from nearby towns had tried various treatments, but nothing seemed to work. Their final suggestion remained the same: only Dr. Karen Mehta in the city can help. But reaching him won't be easy. Dr. Karen was a famous specialist who lived far away. Traveling to the city was expensive, and they had no guarantee that the doctor would even have time to see them. Still, Mira and Dev never lost hope. Every night, they prayed for a miracle. Chapter 2. The Village's Collective Hope. Word of Vihan's condition spread throughout the village, and everyone felt the family's pain as if it were their own. Super was not just a place, it was a home where people cared for each other. One evening, the village elder, Govindji, called a gathering under the ancient banyan tree. "We have tried everything," he said. "But what if the doctor comes to us instead?" Murmur of confusion spread through the crowd. The oldest woman in the village smiled wisely. "Prayer is powerful," she said. "If we all pray together, something will happen." That night, every household lit small oil lamps outside their homes. The village united in a single prayer: "Let the doctor find his way to our village." Chapter 3. Dr. Karen's Unplanned Journey. In the bustling city of Indrapur, Dr. Karen Mehta was a well-respected physician. His days were filled with patient visits, surgeries, and medical conferences. He had little time for anything else. Despite his busy schedule, he had a deep desire to help those who couldn't afford treatment, but his commitments kept him tied to the city. One rainy morning, as he was preparing to leave for an important conference, a strange feeling settled in his chest. It was as if something was pulling him elsewhere, urging him to take a different path. He brushed it aside and got into his car, unaware that fate had already made a decision for him. Chapter 4. The Storm That Changed Everything. The sky darkened as heavy clouds rolled in. Within minutes, the city was drenched in a torrential downpour. Roads flooded, and traffic came to a halt. Frustrated by the standstill, Dr. Karen decided to take a different route, one that his GPS had never suggested before. As he drove through winding roads, the rain intensified. Visibility dropped, and soon he realized he had taken a wrong turn. His phone lost signal, and there was no one around to ask for directions. He drove aimlessly for hours, trying to find his way back, until he saw dim lights in the distance. A village? He had never been here before. Little did he know, he had just arrived in Super, the very village whose people had been praying for his arrival. Chapter 5. A Welcome That Was No Coincidence. As Dr. Karen stepped out of his car, an old man approached him. "Where am I?" the doctor asked. "You're in Super," the old man replied with a knowing smile. "And you're exactly where you need to be." Before Dr. Karen could respond, a commotion broke out. A man came running towards them. "Dev, doctor, please. My son is very sick. You must help him." Without hesitation, Dr. Karen followed Dev through the rain to his small house, where Mira was weeping beside Vihan's still body. One look at the boy, and the doctor knew this was no ordinary illness. He needed immediate treatment, but the nearest hospital was too far away. Chapter 6. The Doctor's Dilemma. Dr. Karen quickly assessed Vihan's condition. His fever was dangerously high, his breathing shallow. The doctor's mind raced. "He needs urgent medication," he said, "but I don't have my medical kit." The villagers looked at one another in despair. The nearest pharmacy was miles away, and the rain had flooded the roads. There was no way to get the necessary medicine in time. Then, something unexpected happened. A merchant who had been traveling through the storm entered the village. He carried a box of medical supplies, and among them was the exact medicine Vihan needed. Dr. Karen stared at the medicine in disbelief. It was the same stock he had ordered for his hospital days ago. How had it ended up here? Was this truly just a coincidence? Chapter 7. A Night of Determination. The villagers gathered around as Dr. Karen worked tirelessly, administering the medicine and monitoring Vihan's condition. Mira sat by her son's side, whispering prayers, while Dev held her hand, his heart pounding with both fear and hope. Hours passed. The storm raged outside, but inside, a miracle was unfolding. By dawn, Vihan's fever had dropped, and his breathing steadied. Slowly, he opened his eyes and managed a weak smile. Tears welled up in Mira's eyes. "Doctor, you saved him." Dr. Karen, exhausted yet relieved, whispered, "I think your prayers saved him." Chapter 8. A New Realization. As Dr. Karen prepared to leave, he reflected on the past 24 hours. He had started his journey toward a conference, but fate had brought him here instead. It wasn't chance, it was something beyond logic, something he couldn't explain. "You were meant to be here," Govindji said. "Not all miracles come with explanations." For the first time in his life, Dr. Karen felt something he had never felt before, a deep belief in the unseen power of faith. Chapter 9. A Promise to Return. Before he left, Dr. Karen made a decision. This was no accident. "I will return, not just for Vihan, but for all those in need." The villagers rejoiced, and Dev folded his hands in gratitude. "Doctor, you are family now." As Dr. Karen drove back, he no longer felt like he had lost his way. In truth, he had found it. And back in the village, Mira and Dev held Vihan close, knowing they had witnessed something extraordinary, the strength of prayer. Moral of the story: faith and perseverance can open doors that seem impossible. When prayers come from a sincere heart, the universe finds a way to answer them in unexpected ways. Miracles don't always defy logic. They happen through the right people at the right time.